Hey everybody, today I'm going to be teaching you how to create a cinematic glow around your subject. I'm going to be using Affinity Photo, however, if you know Photoshop and where some of your basic tools are, it should be pretty easy for you to do as well. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my subject from the background. I just use a simple quick selection tool, however, if you'd like to take more time, you could use the pen tool. Now that that's all done, I'm going to turn down the brightness of my subject so the lights will pop off her more. I just went into the brightness option and I turned down the brightness and turned up the contrast a little bit. Now that that's done, I'm going to grab a curves adjustment layer and turn up the brightness on that. And because I'm going to have a blue light, I'm going to turn up the blue and the green curves to create sort of a nice aqua-ish type light. And that looks pretty good, so I'm just going to close out. And yeah. You just want to make sure that you invert this layer so that it's on a mask. Make sure that your brush is turned to white, so then you can color it around the edges of your subject. Now just make sure that you're only coloring the edges, because that's only where the light will be hitting. After you finish sort of coloring in the edges of your subject, I use a smudge brush on the mask, not on the actual picture. I don't know if this is necessarily the most right thing to do, but it works for me and it helps everything blend very well. You can also use a softer edged brush with a lower opacity, and that should blend it in nicely as well. So now that our curves layer is done, I'm going to add a recolor adjustment. Now I think on Photoshop you can find this under hue, saturation, and luminance. However, that's what I'm just going to use for now. So I'm just going to turn it to a similar color and turn up the lightness. Now you need to make sure when you use this, you use it very sparingly and only around the edges. Otherwise things, at least for me, can start looking pretty muddy. This is just a really good way for things to pop off darker surfaces like her black pants. Now that that's done, I'm going to do the same on the other side with those two layers in orange. I'm going to be using orange because orange and blue are complementary colors. Here's the final product. I understand that I didn't really show you a time lapse of the whole thing. However, you guys know how it's done and I didn't want to bore you with the entire process all over again. More or less what I did after this is I added a little bit of lights underneath her chin and by her nose and on her face. I did lighten her overall face just because it looked sort of dark and I wanted it to stick out a little bit more as she is the subject and her face is probably the main thing that you're going to be looking at. Another thing I did is I added a little bit of an colored layer on like soft light, and I laid that over her hair and over part of her jacket just to make that area pop and look a little more natural with the rest of the light. Alright guys, thank you for watching. This is my very first video, so if you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing or hitting thumbs up. And alright, I will see you in the next video. Bye!